everybody. I'm Suzanne Giesemann coming to you live from my bus. This is the way that my husband Ty and I are traveling around the country now, trying to block that refrigerator behind me. But this is where I'm broadcasting today. We find ourselves in Port Hueneme, California. That is just south of Santa Barbara. And we're here because this weekend I'm going to be teaching my Serving Spirit class. That one's all sold out. Then we're going to be moving up the coast a little further for another class later this month in San Jose. Another great group of people gathered for that. But here you are today to share with me as I answer the top 10 questions that people have asked me about the afterlife and the spirit world. This is a conglomeration of questions that my assistant Bev and I have put together based on what people ask when I give presentations around the country and online to people around the world. It almost makes me laugh sometimes because it's so predictable what people are going to ask. So you hear these little computer noises in the background. There are certain things I can't shut out today. Oh, look, I see people commenting already. This is what's cool about doing this live. Hello, Diane and Kate. Irene, thanks for joining me, everybody. So I must be live. Okay, I was told that I might want to just talk about various things before I start the top 10 questions because, well, so while people are joining, I wanted to share a little magic that happened in my Serving Spirit class in Michigan just a couple weeks ago. One of the attendees, Gail Van Canagan, came into the classroom wearing this t-shirt with a beautiful design on the front of it. I was just drawn to it. I said, Gail, I love that design. It had the word joy under it, and it was a sacred geometry design with the flower of life in it, lots of colors. She said, yeah, this is my favorite one. It's by an artist named Barbara Evans. And Gail said, as a matter of fact, I co-authored a book with Barbara, and I brought a copy of it for you today. So she gave me this book, and you can see right on the cover, there's some beautiful designs, and Barbara talks about where her designs came from. In fact, there's the design that was on the front of the t-shirt. Geometry, I love this artwork. How can I find out more about Barbara? And she said, oh, she gave me her website. I should have it handy for you, but I don't. I'm sure if you Google Barbara Evans art, you'll find it. And so on the lunch break at my class, I went up to my hotel room and Googled Barbara Evans and was looking at her beautiful art, and she had a shop in her website. And I looked in the shop, and there were these wisdom cards, like little oracle cards where you pick one for the day, and it had her artwork on it. And I thought, oh, I would love to have a set of those wisdom cards. But as many of you know, Ty and I are traveling for 6 months right now. And so it's not easy to get our mail. I can't just buy things through mail order because it would be months before it catches up with me. So I thought, well, that's okay. Maybe I'll get them when I go back home. So I go back to the classroom, and I kid you not, we're just about ready to start up, and another woman who does not know Gail with the t-shirt, who I later questioned, has no connection whatsoever with Gail, walked up to me and she said, Suzanne, do you like gifts? And I said, I love gifts. Why? And she said, well, I'd like to give you these. And she handed me the exact set of wisdom cards that I had just been drawn to and thought, boy, I'd like to have some of those. So that's how spirit works, guys. I think that my guides knew that I was about to get those cards and put the thought in my head, wouldn't it be nice to have them so that I would have that wonderful synchronicity? And that's what synchronicity is. It's the sign of the two worlds coming together, the physical world and the non-physical world. So just a little bit of magic to start our session together. Thank you again for joining me. I'm doing this video, I've never used Facebook Live, as part of a promotional campaign for the Afterlife Research and Education Symposium that's coming up in Scottsdale, Arizona, September 15, 16, and 17. And there are lots of seats available. It's going to be one of the biggest gathering of afterlife experts ever in the country and in the world, probably. And they have 27 fantastic speakers gathered. I'm going to tell you more about that at the end, but that's why we're doing this today. And several other speakers will be doing these live broadcasts, which will be posted on YouTube later. So let's get to the meat of why we're doing this today. I thought, what is it that people would most like to hear if I did a live broadcast? And that's easy. The top 10 questions that people always ask. We actually came up with about 14 questions, and I've been trying to group them together to make it into 10. So you'll see that we're going to discuss a lot of things today. I have asked my team of guides, who we call Sanaya, to be here present with me so that I don't say anything stupid, so that I speak from the heart, so that I speak from a higher place, tapping into higher consciousness, so that my answers come from a place of truth. So I do want to preface the session by saying that anything that I share with you today, I would like you to just tune into your heart and see how it feels there. Does it feel right to you? Does it feel truthful? Does it feel as if it comes from a high vibration? Because some of the things that I share may be contrary to your current belief system. And all I can do is share my current understanding. I have a feeling when I get to the other side, those on the other side will tweak a few things and say, you might have had that one a little off, or you could have explained this one a little better. For now, I'm just doing the best I can. So let's start with, in no particular order, the first question. But I will tell you that I am saving the number one question that people ask until the end. And just a spoiler alert, it has to do with reincarnation and will we see our loved ones again if they've already reincarnated. So if you want the answer to that one, stay with me to the end. So let's start here. Number one, can anyone connect with the spirit world? And I've grouped that together with, are angels and guides real? Kind of a strange grouping. The answer to that, I believe, is yes. I'm saying this from the perspective of someone who is now a practicing evidence-based medium and psychic and channeler. A channeler is somebody who taps into higher consciousness and allows that consciousness to come through them. This is what I'm going to be talking about at the Aide Symposium in Scottsdale. Now, I wouldn't be able to do that. I wouldn't be able to access that higher guidance if guides and angels did not exist, if our loved ones did not exist on the other side. I'm saying this as someone who had no idea that she had these abilities years ago. In my former life as a Navy officer, I had no idea there were spirit guides. I wouldn't have spoken of such a thing. And now I can't imagine going through my life without my team. And I call them my team with a capital T. Yes, you can connect with the spirit world. You can connect with guides. You have guides, and trust me, angels are real. It begins with the belief that higher consciousness exists. This connection begins with that. If you don't believe it's there, you're not going to try. And if you do try without that full belief, then you're going to talk yourself out of the connection. You're going to tell yourself you're making it up. You're going to berate yourself. I've been there. I've been there. But I'm not there now because I opened that door to higher consciousness with my belief that there is more there. And with that foot in the door, I sat with intention, with the desire, with an open mind, and especially important, an open heart. And started talking to whoever would hear me, hoping that there was someone who would hear me. And I started asking questions, and I started asking for signs, for evidence that I wasn't just talking to myself. And those of you who've read Messages of Hope, my memoir, you know that those signs came and they convinced me there's so much more to this world than this physical world, than just us humans here. Thank goodness. Thank goodness we have guides who care about us, who love about us, who want us to know that they're here. So yes, you can do this too. Why? Because you have the same equipment I do. You have a soul. You are spirit right now. The human side is just one aspect of your wholeness. And knowing that, and with faith and awareness that I would never lie to you, that I only want you to discover what I've discovered in my heart, in my soul, sit and talk to your guides. Tell them, I want to have a relationship with you. I want to get to know you. And they will teach you. They'll be your greatest teachers. I could go on for hours about this topic alone. But the short answer is, can anyone connect with the spirit world? Yes. If you are having trouble with that, that's why Suzanne Wilson and I do a workshop on connecting with guides. We're going to be doing another one in the Villages, Florida in March. We'll announce that soon. But the next step after belief would be making yourself the clearest possible vessel for spirit to be noticed. And that means clearing out the gunk. If you're in grief, if you are bogged down by lower vibrations, if you have fear, all of those things will stand in the way of a clear connection. But there's hope, because you at your very essence are love. And the more you come to know that, the greater the connection. All right, before I move on to the second question, I want to just comment on some comments that are coming in here on Facebook. Oh, there's a question. What happens if a soul departs suddenly and in a traumatic experience, does the soul immediately find peace? Well, that's one of my questions. How about that? I'll get to that one in just a second. I want to just acknowledge Gail, Margarita, Cynthia, Liesel, John, hi. Thank you so much for joining me. Lynn, everybody figured this out. Isn't it cool? All right. So let's talk about people who are in traumatic accidents. Number one, this is something I can't prove, but it comes through repeatedly when I do readings and tap into souls who are in car accidents or who fell, a very sudden accident. They almost 100% of them show me this sign, and it comes with an awareness. Their soul was catapulted out of the body before they felt the pain. And I find that very comforting, and I want you all to know that I wouldn't say these things just so that we feel better. This is what those on the other side tell me. And then those who were not expecting their passing because they weren't tapped into their soul's awareness, that leads to another question that's coming up. The soul knows. If the human side wasn't tapped into that awareness, there may be a bit of an adjustment on the other side. As I understand it, in almost all cases, there's immediate awareness. What just happened? And I'm being shown that scene from the movie Ghost, is it, with Patrick Swayze, where he's standing looking down at his body and saying, how can that be me there? But then there's this awareness from the love that surrounds the soul that something has changed. And so for sudden traumatic passings, there's awareness, there's no pain. Those who've been sick for a while know immediately what's going on and don't necessarily have to go through an adjustment period. That's how I was able to bring through a friend's husband within 12 hours after he passed, because he had been ill. And I believe his soul was already getting used to, getting prepared to communicate with his wife. And he did so through me, through a medium. But those who pass traumatically, that's why I like to wait a little while before doing a reading and trying to connect with them, because they need to learn the new way of communicating through consciousness only instead of a voice. But just know that to the best of my understanding, they don't suffer. Okay, let's see if we have any more comments here. Oh, more. Yay. Hi from Oceanside. I think I must be near there. I don't know my California geography yet. Tennessee. Oh, we're going to talk about suicide. Yes, Lynette Casey's talking about suicide. Let's talk about that, because that's definitely on my list. Those who commit suicide, I have brought through hundreds, and I see gestures immediately that let me know, oh, this is somebody that took their own life. And almost all of them then show me the gesture, the head hanging down, which indicates an apology. Why are they apologizing? They're apologizing because what happens when they get to the other side is they're surrounded by love. Many, if not most, go to a healing type place. They show me it's like a hospital ward environment, with usually with a light blue light that's ever present. It feels very peaceful. But the apology comes when they are shown that in taking their own life, they cut short their opportunities to grow as a soul here on earth, because that's why we're all here, isn't it? To make choices that come from the highest place, to make choices that help us grow in learning to love each other and to help those around us to learn the same thing. And there is understanding on the other side as to why we humans make the choices we do. And that's why, to a soul, they have all told me, this is an answer to another question, no one is judged by the angels, by the masters, by the guides. No one. Not even the murderers and the terrorists. But this answers another question. All judge themselves tremendously. They suddenly feel the full brunt of, the energy goes down with this one, the full brunt of their actions on whoever was affected by their actions and choices. And in awareness suddenly of the dichotomy between the energy that their actions caused and the love that's available there but beyond their reach, that's a kind of self-punishment that we really can't imagine. We know what guilt feels like. We know what remorse feels like. So imagine that 1,000-fold, 1,000,000-fold, depending upon the severity of one's actions. But this is not what those who take their own life feel. That was an answer to a question about, is there a hell? Those who take their own lives are surrounded by love, judging only themselves, and because of that love that's around them, they want to make amends. They want to grow. And many of them ultimately do choose to come back and have another go at this life, to face those opportunities again. We'll talk about that at the last question about reincarnation. All right, let's check out the comments here. Hi, Jean and Karen and Susan, Sue, Lisa. Oh, Kansas, people from all over the country. I love this. And Rosie, look at all you guys. I love that you're writing comments. This is kind of fun. It's kind of strange to sit here alone talking to the computer, but I know I'm not alone because I can feel that heart connection. So let's move on to another question. Oh, by the way, hi, Brenda. Sending you healing energy. Alrighty, so we answered that one. We answered a kind of heavy one there. Is there a hell? Yeah, let's get that one over with. I did talk about that. Not as a separate place, because heaven is not a separate place. It's all state of awareness. That's why heaven can be right here. It's that awareness that we are love, that we are one with the source of love. What could be better than that? That is heaven. I feel heaven right now, yet I know it gets even better than that. If you've had a spiritually transformative event, a near-death experience, something where you have felt as much light as this physical body can handle, then you know what heaven is. We can only imagine the opposite of that feeling, and that would be hell. Put together all of the negative feelings, all the fear you can imagine, well, let's not go there. It's a vibration, isn't it? It's a state of awareness. And that's why my guides, Sanaya, have said quite often that compared to the reality that we go to when we earn our place in that higher awareness after we shed this physical body, this physical life is like a hell. Because we walk about with so many people who don't get this, who don't understand who we are, who don't realize that our whole purpose in being is to express our true nature, which is love. And so those who don't get that walk amongst us, as Sanaya says right now. And so it's really great for our own soul's growth as we mix and mingle with people who don't get it here on earth, to be the presence of love. And then this is no longer hell on earth. When we immerse ourselves in the awareness of truth, that you are the light. You have never been anything but that. Then you bring heaven to earth through your own awareness. Those who make choices that in our human awareness we feel they should go to hell, whew, we're bringing our own energy down by saying such a thing. Trust me, you reap what you sow. Make choices that are farther and farther away from love. Earn the state of awareness they experience when they pass to the other side. And that can be a hell when you're suddenly aware of what is truth, which is the fullness of true divine love. But you can't quite reach it because you have to make amends through your own soul's growth for decisions made out of ignorance. For no human being would ever hurt being knew who we are, which is the expression of love. So that's that one. We're going to have to bring the energy up after that one. How about this next question? When people are in a coma or have dementia, where is their soul? Oh, I heard a couple of you. You said, ooh, good one. Yeah, they are good ones. I think the key point to look at first in this question is the question, where is their soul? And I kind of answered it in the last one. When you understand the nature of the soul, which is spirit without form, then the soul isn't anywhere. The soul is a state of awareness. The soul is pure consciousness, only it's still part of the duality. We haven't yet merged with pure spirit because the soul is still growing higher and higher in awareness until that total return home takes place. But the soul of one who is in a body with poor wiring, which would be what happens in the case of dementia, or a coma, one who is not physically conscious of the physical world around them, the soul is playing. The soul, your soul, is interacting with its home, the spirit world, right here, right now. But we can only focus on one thing at a time. We humans try to focus on 10, 20, 30 things at a time, and it doesn't really work. Our full focus, when it's on the human side, that's what we're aware of. But all it takes is a shift in awareness to tap into the spirit world. That's what I do in a reading. That's what I teach people to do in my serving spirit classes, is how to make that shift, and there's the spirit world. We're making that connection through the soul. So when we look at somebody who has dementia and we feel sorry for them, that's because they're no longer functioning from a human perspective normally. But the soul is perfect. The soul is fine. The soul is at peace. Know this, because the soul knows who and what it is, an expression of spirit, and you can't cut that off. So imagine somebody who's in a coma, somebody who is experiencing dementia in physical form, with their focus no longer fully on the physical world. Now they're aware of the spirit world. Trust me, they're playing. And I love bringing through those who have passed in a reading who had dementia, because they show me gestures. It was foggy before I passed, but clear as day now. Of course, because they no longer have that poor wiring that distorted their awareness in human form. I hope that answers that question well enough for you. Here come the glasses again. Let's see. There's Brenda and Julie. Mabel, hello from Canada. We've gone international. Marge back in the village. Hi, Marge and Jack. Sandy Henson, I miss you too. We're going to be doing a channeling session with Sanaya at Unity of the Villages when I come home for my mom and my birthday at the end of July, July 30th, Unity of the Villages. Join me there to see Sanaya, and we'll be channeling Sanaya at the AREI Symposium as well. So there's Kathleen Malone doing such a wonderful job to promote the conference. All kinds of folks with questions, but let's stick to the top 10 for now. Okay, does our soul know when we are going to die? And I've combined this with a couple other questions. Was this determined before we came to the earth plane? Do we have a choice to come back? Ooh, more good ones, huh? Does our soul know when we are going to die? I say with a categorical yes. That awareness may not get through our human awareness to our conscious mind, but all you have to do is read my book, Wolf's Message, for proof, P-R-O-O-F, that the soul knows. And why did I make such a big deal out of proof? Because until I experienced the story of Wolf, Mike Passacarnis, known as Wolf, I never would have used the word proof to talk about the soul. But that young man left proof that we are souls, we are pure spirit, and that the soul knows. He left proof of how he was going to die. Well, I'm not going to give away the whole story. My stepdaughter Susan, struck by lightning, killed the same way as Wolf. She came to me 2 days before she died in a dream visit of the soul. Why? Because I can still see that dream. Do you remember your dreams from 4 or 5 days ago? They go like that. Those are normal dreams. But dream visits stay with you. This one has stayed with me since 2006. No, 2008. I get confused. 2006, when Susan passed. She came to me 2 days before, walked right up to me in that dream, looked at me, and she said, Suzanne, the baby and I are fine. Susan was 6 months pregnant. I didn't understand why she would say that to me in a dream until she died 2 days later, because her soul knew. And that was a message that was delivered loud and clear. Those are just 2 examples. I know that there are many of you watching this video who have children who have passed, who somehow said something like, Mom, I just don't feel I'm going to be around for a long life. I've had people that suddenly started talking to God in their backyard, a young man, days before he passed. It's the soul just trying to get through. Now, please don't become paranoid if you have people that are talking like this. Whatever's supposed to happen happens, many times for a reason, but we can also distort messages, so I don't want to scare people, but yes, the soul knows. If there's fear attached to something, don't trust it. How's that? That's a good piece of advice. So, was this determined before we came to the earth plane when we were going to die? To the best of my understanding, we have certain exit points. Places in our life where something happens and we can say, it's time to go back to the spirit world, or I believe I'll stay. You hear examples of this from people who have had near-death experiences quite often, and that gives credence to this. Again, this is one of those things I can't prove until we get over there, but I have been told by my stepdaughter Susan in spirit that if she hadn't died by the lightning strike, then she would have had an accident within a year or so, because it was her time and she had a mission. She came here to do it, and I hope that I'm carrying on that mission for Susan by doing this work and sharing with all of you. We can grow spiritually in our hearts and our souls, raising our vibration and that of those around us as a result of the challenges we face, then we're fulfilling our purpose here. Let me say hi to a few more people. Hey, Lois, good to see you. Technical difficulties, I hear, for some people. Well, it's being recorded, so it'll come back. Don't worry about that. Okay, good. Oh my, frustrating for some people, lost the broadcast. It will definitely be videoed and posted later. Okay, I'm going to post a note here. I'm still I'm still chatting. If you can't see me, the video will be posted later. Okay, so I posted that. Let's just go on with more questions, and hopefully the video will pick back up again. All right. Oh, here's a good one. Will there ever be peace on earth? Wow. All I can answer for that one, my guides have said we will not see the end of war and combat and fighting and aggression in our lifetime. If that surprises you, well, I'm not going to make any shoulds here, huh? I've been told to look at history, and Sanaya, my guides, have said, do not despair, do not give up hope, because they see our lights, and our lights are rising. They've shown me the grid that's around our Earth in the shape of a stellated dodecahedron. How do you like that term? Grid. It's the grid that becomes brighter as all of us realize we are one with all that is. That's the true definition of a Christ. Nothing to do with religion. But the more that we come to know who we are as love, as the pure expression of spirit, the more this electric, energetic grid around our Earth becomes brighter. And they said that compared to the dark ages, way back in the history of mankind, we're definitely glowing brighter. Things are moving up. That's evolution. But with a bit of humor, and please hear this with a bit of humor, they say that these are the dim ages. So we've moved from the dark ages to the dim ages, but that means to me that there's hope. That as more and more of us awaken to who we truly are, that more light will surround our planet, and it'll just have this ripple effect. So will we ever have peace on Earth? I believe that that is totally possible, and it happens one person at a time. It begins with each one of us by turning up our own lights so that all other lights grow brighter. Okay, let me take a peek here and see if we made any difference. Nothing coming through, no sound, no video. Let's see. I hope folks can still hear and see me, so I'll just keep talking. Kind of strange. There's another question down. Why are people born with disabilities or mental illness? Was this their choice? You can read books by Michael Newton and others who talk about this, and they have done a lot of research and say yes. I have done the same research, but what I'm basing my answer of yes to is what my team Sanaya has told me in meditation and in channeling sessions. They show me that souls sit around as if in a council of higher beings and decide what opportunities, what physical body, what circumstances, what parents will provide the soul the greatest learning opportunities, and most importantly, they're saying not most importantly, equally importantly, is what opportunities will provide growth for those around the soul. And so if you had the opportunity to incarnate in a body that most humans would consider disabled or handicapped, but you were able to see from a big picture that this allowed caregivers and family members to work on their love, to work on their compassion and their understanding, why I'm shown by the spirit world, you would jump at that chance as a soul, because you would know, I'm not that body. I'm going into a body, but that's not the real me. May I always remember who I am. So that's one thing that we can hold in our affirmative prayers, is that those who may not have the same awareness that we do because of a so-called handicap their physical body may present them, just the awareness that their soul inside is perfect, which we already spoke about. So why would souls choose to come back as one with mental illness or a handicap? For the opportunities it allows to those around them. for the soul's growth. The opportunity for soul's growth is always met when we respond with love. Okay, let's move on. We're doing pretty well here. Okay. Oh, good. 2 positive, nice, happy questions in a row. Oh, I already answered that question. Okay, about suicide. So good. The higher vibration ones, bring the energy up here. Do our loved ones on the other side know what we are doing here, and do they watch over us? Do they ever? I just gave a reading yesterday to a woman whose husband came through. I'm still waiting for her permission to share the exact details. Until I get that permission, let me tell you that a couple things came through in the reading. She didn't know what I was talking about, and I just said, this is what your husband is showing me. And she's, since the reading is over, sent me photos of the exact objects that he showed me in the house where she was doing the reading. She's visiting family members, and she didn't recognize the items he was describing. And the reason he brought up those items that were in the house, along with a topic of conversation that she had just had with the family members she's visiting, is to say, honey, I'm right there. I heard you. I see you. I know where you are. And this is something that comes through in every reading I do. Every reading. What is going on in the loved one here's life right now? So comforting. Okay, so I hear some of you, you're saying, oh my God, do they see me in the shower? What about if I move on to another relationship? Will they be looking in on that? No, because they respect your privacy. Oh, they said no to the loving relationship. They're not going to impose on your privacy there, but they may watch you in the shower, and they're laughing right now saying, you know, our physical bodies are not that important when you get in the spirit world. There's so much understanding that the things here in this physical world that we get hang-ups about are so unimportant in the spirit world. What is important to you? It's knowing your loved one is there, that they hear you, they connect with you, and sometimes one of the best places to connect is in the shower because of the presence of the water, the higher vibration of the cleansing energy. Your mind is not all scattered, and I know some scientists who get some of their greatest insights in the shower. So a little humor here, just to let you know, yes, your loved ones on the other side know what's going on in your life. Most importantly, know that they attend their own funerals, get evidence of what happened at their funerals, specific evidence about things people put in the coffin. They attend the graduation ceremonies, the birthday parties, the Christmas get-together. They're there. And why wouldn't they be? You're thinking about them. You're connecting with them in your heart. You're thinking memories, but they're there real time, right there with you. So please talk to them. It must be awfully frustrating for those on the other side to be right there with you, and we don't acknowledge their presence. They love that when we do that. So yeah, let's see if you guys can see me. Would somebody write a comment and let me know if you can see me again, if this unfroze? Okay, I don't see any comments yet, but hopefully they'll come in and you'll let me know. I know there's a time lag here. Okay, another highly positive question. Will we see our pets again? Can you turn into pets? Do pets have souls? See how I lumped 3 popular questions together? Well, I'm looking right here at my little baby Gretchen, my little black dachshund, and Rudy's over there in his bed. And I'll tell you what, I'd be pretty sad if I thought I wasn't going to see those babies again. But I am very much at peace knowing that, yes, animals have souls, and our pets, because they have personality, have distinguishable souls that mediums can tune into, and even you can feel the presence. I have a wonderful friend named Lois Ann, who when her beloved dog Haley passed to the other side, she was out jogging and felt Haley's presence jogging beside her, even saw his spirit beside her. This is not wishful thinking. This is truth. I have tuned into pets on the other side with absolute evidence how they passed. Oh, your dog is showing me it had kidney disease. Yes, it did. Your cat is showing me it was 18 years old and used to ride with you in the car. Yes, she did. Your dog is here on the other side. His name is Champ. Yes, it was. So this to me is very comforting. It's not wishful thinking. It is truth. Pets have souls. This is why why are we drawn to animals? They are love. It's that connection that says you are that unconditional love, presence. If you want to learn how to be here and be here in the now, watch an animal. It's what they do best. The more we can do that, the more loving we can feel, because all of our fears and our pains and our suffering are set to the side when we're present. All right, let's see. A little choppy at times, but still quite viewable. Yay! So you're seeing this. Again, I'm hoping that the video, when it's posted on YouTube and on my site and several others, will be viewable in its entirety without choppiness. I think we're down to one final question. So before I answer that, let me take this moment to share with you that I hope to see you. I know I'm going to see a bunch of you already have signed up at the Afterlife Research and Education Symposium in Scottsdale, Arizona this September 15, 16, and 17. I think there's still time to get the early bird pricing, but let me tell you, even the regular pricing is incredibly reasonable for a full weekend conference, considering what people are going to get out of it. 27 experts in afterlife communications, and that is what people want to know. How do I communicate with the other side? How can I hear from my loved one? Imagine a full weekend of experts talking about how to do this better, about technology that's coming to allow us to do that better. We're going to have mediums there demonstrating that connection. My talk, I'm actually talking 4 different times that week, and I'm so grateful to the organizers for giving me all this time. I'm doing one 45-minute presentation on trance mediumship, which is another word for channeling. I'm going to talk about what it is, how one does it, what's the point of it. And then the next day, I believe, another 45 session where I actually demonstrate trance mediumship. Those of you who have attended my sessions where I bring through Sanaya know what a magical experience that is. I love channeling Sanaya because of the overwhelming love that I feel when they speak through me. And it's kind of odd for me because I can't prepare for these sessions. I can't tell you what I'm going to talk about. It's different for every group, but is a tangible experience of the presence of love, of the presence of spirit. People have been healed at these sessions. Some of you may have been present when people have come in with certain ailments and they leave with no more aches and pains. One woman had facial paralysis for 33 years before attending a session when Sanaya was channeled through me, and she left and the paralysis was gone. That's grace, isn't it? I can't guarantee that ever, but I can guarantee you, if you attend this conference, you will raise your own consciousness. You can't help but be around that many like-minded people for a full weekend, learning about the afterlife, experiencing the presence of Sanaya and others' guides, your own guides, tapping into them at this conference. I can't imagine not being at this conference. I've already talked to so many of you, and that's going to be what's the most fun for me, is I'm going to be sitting in on other people's talks as well, because I eat this stuff up. I love it. And so I hope that you will join me there. Go to the website when I'm finished here, afterlifestudies.org, for all the information and to make sure you reserve a seat there. All right. Oh, yes. So besides the channeling, I'm also participating in a panel on developing new mediums, which is what I do in my classes, Serving Spirit around the country. Maybe you'll join me. You can find out the other places around the country where I'm doing my Serving Spirit class on my website, SuzanneGiesemann.com, under classes and under events. And then the final thing that I'm doing at the Afterlife Research and Education Symposium is a workshop on Sunday called Living in the United States of Awareness. How do you like that? The USA, the United States of Awareness. Learning how to merge your human awareness with your soul awareness that we were talking about. Remember earlier I said where we place our focus becomes our reality, but you can have a blended awareness like I've tried to have throughout this program today, to tap into answers and make sure that they're coming from the highest place. Which leads us to the final question. Do you believe in reincarnation? And I've combined it with another one. What if my loved one reincarnates before I die? Okay. I didn't used to believe in reincarnation back when I was a Navy officer because I was very left brain. I didn't have that belief. Once I opened my belief, as we discussed earlier, my guides were able to tell me, yes, it's part of the system. It allows you to come back and raise your soul's vibration even more if you didn't learn all your lessons. The body gives out after about 80 to 100 years now because pretty much we get in ruts as humans, don't we? And we've pretty much learned all we can. Some of us say, I'm never coming back here. I don't want to come back. This life is too hard. But I believe that we get to the other side and we feel that love and we see the effects of our love on others here. And we see how we raise the vibration of the whole. We see what life is all about. And we say, you know, maybe if I go back, I can be more aware of myself as a soul next time, and then I won't need to suffer. Well, guess what? If you become aware of who you are right here, right now, your suffering can cease right here, right now. But until that time, until this becomes your full awareness all the time, you're given an option to come back. Now, this is the second part. People are really worried. What if my loved one, who I just so desperately want to see when I die, is not there? What if they reincarnated? My guides and I have explained this to me in a way that's a little different than others' concepts, and I can only trust them because it still feels right in my heart. We humans tend to think in all or nothing thinking, that here's Suzanne, and when she dies, the entirety of Suzanne, her personality, her whole being is going to reincarnate over here as another being, and then we won't see Suzanne on the other side. But see, that's where we make a mistake. This Suzanne that you're seeing here is a story. It's a personality, it's a role. She's a medium, she was a Navy officer, this is who she is. Hopefully she's known as loving and helpful to people, but she has her quirks, let me tell you. That aspect that is known as Suzanne, when this body no longer functions, I'm going to rejoin my higher self, which, gosh, I hope is a lot more than this little limited story with Suzanne Giesemann name attached to it. No, I'm going to get to the other side and be part of the higher self, which is spirit, a greater oversoul. And that aspect that was oversoul, but an aspect of the higher self that has no name, that is just this light that my various selves and stories are building, this light. An aspect of that right here and now is having other incarnations, for there is no time or space on the other side. My guides are saying, don't confuse people now, stick to future lives and past lives. We humans like to see things in linear fashion, but it's all happening at once. But since we can't wrap our heads around that, yes, aspects of the higher self do take on other personalities, other stories with other names. I'm writing like a name tag here. You know, maybe I'm John Smith right now in another century in human terms. I'm told that this will make a lot more sense to us. Signal, so I'll keep going. I think we're still filming. Okay. A medium will always be able to tap into your loved one, and your loved one, if they're available, if they want to talk, if the medium has a good connection and resonance with their spirit. But the big thing is, when you pass to the other side, if you have a heart's desire to see that loved one, even if an aspect of their higher self has reincarnated or is experiencing a lifetime in another form, that story, that loved one of yours, will be there for you to greet you. That's not wishful thinking. That is my understanding of how it works. to the best of my ability. I do apologize for the connection here with technology. I can tell you that the heart connection never ceased. I love all of you. I thank you for joining me here today. I look forward to seeing you at various events around the country. I really look forward to seeing you at the Afterlife Research and Education Symposium in Scottsdale, September 15, 16, and 17, and as I travel around the country. I hope to do more of these videos in the future. Look at all the little hearts going across the screen. Those are little people saying love, love, love. They like the broadcast. Well, my love coming back to all of you. I hope that something you've heard here today has helped to raise your vibration. Do me a favor, go out and just spew love all over everyone, okay? That's why we're here. Love to everybody. Bye-bye.